Okay, let's talk about this new film Demons, and why it might be one of the most fascinating cinematic metaphors to come out of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Wait, Demons. Sounds like a horror movie, right? But trust me, the real horror here isn't supernatural. It's the messy, tragic, decades-deep tension between two nations, disguised as a twisted love story. And honestly, that's way more terrifying than any ghost or witch. So here's the setup. A Russian drifter stumbles into a Ukrainian village in the 90s. He's got a shady past, claims to be a writer, immediately sketchy. Then there's Nina, a tough, older Ukrainian woman who takes him in. At first, it's like some bleak indie romance. But as their relationship implodes, the film spirals into betrayal, mysticism, and a village where the dead won't stay quiet. Cool, right? But wait, why is this movie being called a metaphor for Russia and Ukraine? Let's unpack this. Personally, I think the director, Natalka Vorozhbyt, is playing four-dimensional chess here. The drifter isn't just a guy with a past, he's Russia. Nina isn't just a widow with secrets, she's Ukraine. And their toxic dynamic. That's the post-Soviet fallout. But what makes this really interesting is how Vorozhbyt layers it with folklore. Witches next door, ghosts whispering. That's not just spooky set dressing. It's the idea that both nations are haunted by history, by trauma, by the things they won't confront. One thing that immediately stands out is how the film uses the 90s setting. That's the era when Ukraine was trying to carve out its identity after the USSR collapsed. Meanwhile, Russia. It was in chaos, but still clinging to its imperial ego. So Slavik, the drifter, shows up in Nina's house like, hey, remember when we were one big happy family? But Nina's like, nope, I'm my own person now. Sound familiar? The whole relationship is a microcosm of the push-pull between these two cultures that share roots, but can't agree on the future. And here's the twist, the mystical layer isn't just symbolism. It's a commentary on how both nations weaponize the past. The dead speaking. That's the Soviet legacy refusing to die. The witches. Maybe they're the oligarchs, or the nationalist movements, or the propaganda machines that still poison the air. What this really suggests is that the war isn't just about land, it's about memory, about who gets to write history. But wait, why a love story? Because love is the most intimate betrayal, right? When trust breaks down in a relationship, it's not just personal. It's existential. And that's the genius of Vorozhbyt's approach. She's saying, look, this isn't just politics. It's emotional warfare. The villagers' hidden rules. That's the societal pressure to conform, to silence dissent. And in Ukraine's case, that pressure's been coming from both inside and out for decades. What many people don't realize is how much art like this challenges both sides. If Nina embodies Ukraine's independence, then her struggle isn't just against Slavik, it's against the parts of herself that still doubt her right to exist. And Slavik. He's not a villain. He's a lost soul who can't accept that the world moved on without him. That's the tragedy. This isn't about good versus evil. It's about two broken identities colliding. So when you watch the trailer, don't expect exorcisms. This isn't a battle of holy water and curses. It's a psychological reckoning. And honestly, that's scarier. Because the demons here aren't going anywhere. They're in the soil, in the stories, in the silence. A detail I find fascinating is how the film's release at Locarno ties into Ukraine's current cultural resistance. This isn't just a movie, it's a statement. While bombs are falling, Ukrainian artists are asking, what ghosts are we carrying? And maybe, just maybe, that's the only way to survive. Not by erasing the past, but by staring it in the face. So here's my closing thought. is Demons even about Russia and Ukraine? Or is it about every fractured relationship where love and betrayal blur until you can't tell which is which? Maybe that's the point. Because at the end of the day, war isn't just fought with weapons. It's fought in the spaces between people, in the stories we tell, and in the parts of ourselves we're too afraid to name.